He thought deleting me from his success story was the end. He was wrong. It was just the beginning of mine. 3 years. $50,000. One graduation speech that changed everything. I sat in that audience and watched the man I built erase me in real time. 5 words. That's all it took. I did this all alone. The crowd erupted. I smiled through it. But in that moment, I made a decision that would change both our lives forever. I just didn't tell him yet. Because the best responses aren't immediate. They're calculated. They're patient. And they're undeniable. This is the story of how one sentence turned me from a supporter into a strategist. And how 3 years of silence became the loudest statement I ever made. Let me take you back to the beginning, before the betrayal, before the lies, before I learned that sometimes the person you'd do anything for is the person who'll do nothing for you. I met him when he had nothing but dreams. No degree. No money. No plan. Just tired eyes and a promise that still echoes in my mind. If I ever make it, it'll be because of us. Those words felt like a vow. Turns out, they had an expiration date I didn't know about. We built everything together, long conversations over cheap meals, shared dreams written on napkins, planning a future that felt inevitable. When he said he wanted to go back to school, I didn't even blink. The number shocked me though, $50,000. More money than I'd ever seen in one place. But I looked at his hopeful face and said yes without hesitation. What followed were 2 years of my life I can never get back. I paid his tuition, his books, his rent when his part-time job fell short. I worked doubles, took extra shifts, put my own dreams in a box labeled someday. At night, he studied while I handled everything else. I proofread his essays at 2 a.m. I talked him through every doubt, every fear, every moment he wanted to quit. I didn't do it for recognition. I did it for love. For partnership. For the future we were supposedly building together. But here's what they don't tell you about sacrifice. Some people see it as love, others see it as a service they're entitled to. The changes started small. He stopped asking about my day, then stopped listening when I shared anyway. The words we and us disappeared from his vocabulary like they were never there. Everything became my career, my future, my success. When I brought it up, he'd laugh. You're being dramatic. When I asked about our wedding, the one we'd planned for after graduation, he said, let's wait until I'm more established. Translation, let's wait until I don't need you anymore. His confidence grew as my role shrank. I became background noise in the story of his life. And I let it happen because that's what love makes you do, make excuses for people who don't deserve them. Then came graduation day. I sat front row, heart racing with pride. This was our victory. Our moment. When they called his name, I felt tears forming. He walked across that stage wearing the suit I bought, holding the certificate I funded, and I thought, we did it. Then he grabbed the microphone for his thank you speech. He thanked his professors, his friends, his study group, even people I'd never heard him mention. The list went on and on. I waited for my name, for our story, for any acknowledgement that I existed. Instead, he said, I want everyone to know I had no one. I did this completely alone. This is what you can accomplish when you believe in yourself and work hard. The applause was thunderous. People around me cheered. Someone patted my shoulder, confused about why I was there. I sat frozen, smile plastered on my face, while something inside me didn't break, it transformed. That night, I confronted him. His response? He shrugged like I was overreacting. It wasn't about you. Why are you making this weird? I paid for everything, I said, my voice shaking. And I'm grateful, he replied, already scrolling through his phone. But that doesn't mean I need to announce it to everyone. It's embarrassing. Embarrassing. My support. My sacrifice. My 2 years of putting him first, embarrassing. That's when I realized he didn't forget to mention me. He chose not to. Because in his new narrative, the self-made success story, I was an inconvenient detail. Within 3 weeks, he moved out. Said he needed space. Calls went to voicemail. Texts turned to read receipts with no replies. Then came the social media post that confirmed everything. Him with another woman, caption reading, new chapter, new energy, new life. No mention of the old life. No acknowledgement of me. Just a clean slate built on my erased existence. I spent days crying, weeks questioning everything about myself. What did I do wrong? Why wasn't I enough? How could someone I loved treat me like I never mattered? Then one morning, I woke up different. The sadness was still there, but it had company, clarity. I realized something powerful. Betrayal hurts. But betrayal plus disrespect? That creates something unshakable. Something focused. Something patient. I stopped reaching out to him. Instead, I started reaching into file cabinets. Bank transfers showing every tuition payment. Receipts for textbooks. Rent checks with my signature. Text messages where he promised forever and begged for help. Emails where he said he'd pay me back once things stabilized. Voice memos of late-night conversations where he admitted he couldn't do this without me. I organized everything. Chronologically. Categorically. Obsessively. Like someone building a case, because that's exactly what I was doing. He thought I was at home heartbroken, probably imagining I'd moved on or given up. He had no idea I was constructing a timeline of truth. Months passed. His career took off. He got a position at a prestigious firm. His social media became an inspiration feed, quotes about doing it alone, about trusting yourself when no one else does, about being self-made. Every post felt like a personal insult. But I didn't comment. Didn't react. I just saved screenshots. Added them to my folder. Watched as he built an entire personal brand on a foundation of lies. Then the perfect opportunity arrived. His company announced their annual leadership forum, Building Success with Integrity. 200 attendees, colleagues, industry leaders, investors. And guess who the keynote speaker was? The moment I saw the announcement, I knew. This was it. The moment I'd been preparing for without even fully realizing it. I registered as a guest. Changed my appearance enough that he wouldn't recognize me from a distance. And I brought my folder. The day of the event, I sat in the back row while he commanded the stage. He was magnetic, I'll give him that. Confident. Articulate. He spoke about trust, accountability, the importance of honesty in business. The audience was captivated. Every word he said about integrity felt like a betrayal of the actual definition. During the Q&A, I raised my hand. He still didn't recognize me. When the microphone reached me, my heart was pounding, but my voice came out steady. You talk a lot about building success with integrity, I said. Can you share how you define integrity when the foundation of your career was funded by someone you later pretended didn't exist? The room shifted. He squinted at me, recognition dawning slowly, then all at once. His face went pale. I'm sorry, I don't. I stood up. Your degree. The one that got you here. $50,000 in tuition, books, and living expenses. All paid by someone you thanked everyone except at graduation. Someone you told the world you did it alone without. You could hear people breathing. That's how silent it got. I don't know what this is about, he stammered, but his voice cracked. I walked toward the front, folder in hand. I have documentation. Bank transfers. Receipts. Messages where you promised we were building this together. Would you like me to share them with everyone, or would you like to tell the truth? The moderator looked between us, unsure whether to intervene. An audience member whispered, "Is this for real?" He opened his mouth. Closed it. Tried again. This is inappropriate. This is a professional setting. You made it professional, I replied calmly, when you built your professional reputation on erasing me. When you spoke on stages about doing it alone. When you posted about being self-made. I'm just providing context. I handed copies of the bank transfers to the people in the front row. Handed one to the moderator. Each page told the same story in black and white. His success wasn't self-made. It was me-made. And then I was unmade from the narrative entirely. This is real, someone murmured, looking at the documents. He stood there, speechless, as the truth spread through that room like wildfire. No dramatic music. No shouting. Just facts, evidence, and the slow crumbling of a carefully constructed lie. I didn't wait for his response. I walked out of that conference room with my head high, leaving him standing in the wreckage of his own story. The aftermath was swift. Articles surfaced questioning his credibility. His company put him under review. Speaking engagements canceled. The inspirational posts stopped. Even his new relationship ended when she realized she was dating someone with a pattern. People ask if I regret it. If I feel bad about what happened to his career. I don't. Not even a little. Because here's what I learned through all of this. Supporting someone shouldn't mean erasing yourself. Love doesn't require you to accept being written out of your own story. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply refuse to stay deleted. He didn't just betray my trust. He tried to steal my narrative, my contribution, my role in a success story I helped write. And when you try to make someone invisible, you better hope they don't have receipts. I never needed him to validate me. But I needed him to understand that some people, when pushed into the shadows, don't just disappear quietly. They document. They prepare. And when the moment comes, they step into the light and bring the truth with them. That folder wasn't revenge. It was restoration. Of my story. Of my truth. Of my refusal to be erased. And in front of 200 people, I proved something important. You can delete someone from your story, but you can't delete them from reality. The truth doesn't need to be loud. It just needs to show up. And that day, it finally did.